Imagine being fired from your job because your boss believed you weren't creative enough. Imagine starting a business, only to watch it collapse into bankruptcy. Imagine losing the character that made you famous. Just when success seemed within reach. Most people would have quit. But one man refused. Instead, he built one of the most powerful entertainment companies in history. A company that created Mickey Mouse, Disneyland, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and countless childhood memories. Today, Disney is worth hundreds of billions of dollars. But behind the magic lies one of the greatest business stories ever told. This is the story of Walt Disney. Welcome to Mr. Finspire, where business becomes a story. A boy with big dream. The story begins in Chicago. On December 5th, 1901, W. Walter Elias Disney was born into a simple family. Life wasn't easy. His father was strict and believed hard work mattered more than dreams. As a child, Walt loved one thing more than anything else: drawing. He filled notebooks with sketches of animals, people, and imaginary worlds. While other children played, Walt imagined stories. Stories that one day would inspire millions. The first failure as a young man, Walt worked at a newspaper. But something unbelievable happened. He was fired. The editor claimed he lacked creativity. Imagine hearing that. When your dream was to become an artist. Most people would have accepted defeat. Walt didn't. He moved to Kansas City and started a small animation studio called Laugh-O-Gram Films. His cartoons were creative. People loved them. But there was one problem. The company earned very little money. Bills piled up. Employees went unpaid. Eventually, the business collapsed. Walt Disney went bankrupt. He had so little money that he reportedly slept in his office and survived on simple meals while chasing his dream. A one-way ticket to Hollywood. With almost nothing left, Walt boarded a train to California. He carried only a suitcase, a few drawings, and an impossible dream. Hollywood at the time was famous for movies, not cartoons. Most people believed animation could never become a serious business. Walt believed otherwise. Together with his brother Roy Disney, he started a new company, the Disney Brothers Studio. They worked day and night, looking for one opportunity that could change everything: success. Then disaster. Eventually, Walt created a successful animated character named Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. The cartoons became popular. Business improved. Finally, it seemed his dream was coming true. Then came the biggest shock of his career. When Walt tried negotiating a better contract, he discovered something devastating. He didn't own Oswald. The distributor owned the rights. Even worse, most of Walt's animation team left him. In a single meeting, he lost his biggest character and much of his business. Years of work gone overnight. Many entrepreneurs never recover from losing their most valuable asset. Walt faced a choice. Quit or begin again. He chose to begin again. The birth of Mickey Mouse. On the train ride back to California, Walt started sketching a small mouse. Simple ears. A cheerful smile. Big personality. That mouse would become Mickey Mouse. In 1928. Disney released Steamboat Willie. It wasn't the first cartoon ever made. But it was one of the first synchronized sound cartoons. Audiences had never seen anything like it. Theaters erupted with applause. Mickey became an overnight sensation. For the first time, Disney had something even bigger than Oswald. He owned it. Walt had learned one of the most important business lessons of his life. Never lose control of your intellectual property. That single lesson would shape Disney's future for decades, raising the bar while competitors rushed to produce more cartoons. Walt focused on quality. Every animation became more detailed. More emotional. More innovative. He invested heavily in technology. New animation techniques, better storytelling, better music. Many people thought he was spending too much. But Walt wasn't trying to make ordinary cartoons. He wanted to create unforgettable experiences. Then he announced a project so ambitious that critics laughed. A full-length animated movie. Most people called it Disney's Folly. They believed audiences would never sit through a feature-length cartoon. Investors doubted him. Industry experts mocked the idea. Even friends warned him not to risk everything. But Walt ignored the criticism. He mortgaged assets. Spent years perfecting every scene. And poured nearly all of the company's resources into one film. The gamble would either make Disney or destroy it. The movie Walt had risked everything on was called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. When it premiered in 1937, the audience was speechless. People laughed. They cried. They applauded. It wasn't just a cartoon. It was a masterpiece. The film became the highest-grossing sound film of its time and completely changed how the world viewed animation. Overnight, Disney transformed from a small animation studio into one of Hollywood's biggest success stories. But Walt wasn't satisfied. He believed success wasn't a destination. It was permission to dream even bigger. Soon came classics like Pinocchio, Fantasia, Dumbo, and Bambi. Each pushed animation to new heights. Yet behind the scenes, the company faced growing challenges. Then, World War II changed everything. International markets disappeared. Movie revenues dropped sharply. Many Disney artists left for military service. The studio accepted government projects and produced training and educational films just to survive. For a while, it seemed Disney's golden age might come to an end. But once again, the company endured. Because Walt always believed. Every crisis eventually creates a new opportunity. After the war, families wanted hope. They wanted happiness. They wanted unforgettable experiences. Walt had an idea that sounded impossible. He didn't want people to simply watch Disney stories. He wanted them to live inside them. In the 1950s, he announced a bold project. A theme park unlike anything the world had ever seen. Critics laughed. Banks refused to finance it. Experts claimed amusement parks were dirty, unsafe, and had no future. But Walt imagined something completely different. A clean, beautiful, story-driven park where every street, every ride, and every building felt magical. To fund his dream, he made another risky decision. He started a television program to promote the project and attract public interest. The strategy worked. On July 17, 1955, Disneyland opened in California. Opening day was chaotic. Traffic jams stretched for miles. The weather was extremely hot. Some attractions weren't finished. Fresh asphalt softened under the sun. Journalists called it Black Sunday. Many predicted Disneyland would fail. Instead, it became one of the most successful entertainment destinations in history. Millions of families visited. Disney had created something revolutionary. He wasn't selling rides. He was selling memories. That became one of Disney's greatest competitive advantages. While other companies focused on products, Disney focused on emotions. People rarely remember every ride. But they remember how Disney made them feel. In 1966, Walt Disney passed away before seeing many of his biggest dreams completed. For many companies, losing a visionary founder means the beginning of decline. But Disney had built something bigger than one person. The company continued expanding. New theme parks opened around the world. Television networks grew. Merchandise reached millions of homes. Then came one of the smartest strategies in business history. Instead of creating every story itself, Disney began acquiring some of the world's greatest storytellers. First, Pixar. The studio behind Toy Story, Finding Nemo, and The Incredibles. Then, Marvel Entertainment, bringing superheroes like Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man, and the Avengers into the Disney family. Then came perhaps the biggest surprise of all. In 2012, Disney acquired Lucasfilm. The home of Star Wars. Suddenly, one company owned some of the most valuable entertainment franchises on Earth. Disney wasn't just making movies anymore. It had built an ecosystem. Movies inspired merchandise. Merchandise promoted theme parks. Theme parks strengthened the brand. Streaming platforms brought stories into homes worldwide. Every part of the business supported every other part. This wasn't luck. It was strategy. Today, Disney reaches billions of people through films, streaming, television, cruise ships, theme parks, consumer products, and unforgettable characters. Few companies in history have built such a powerful global brand. But behind all that success, the lessons remain surprisingly simple. Lesson 1. Protect your ideas. Losing Oswald taught Walt the importance of owning intellectual property. Your greatest asset may not be a product. It may be the idea behind it. Lesson 2. Take calculated risks. Snow White. Disneyland. Television. Each seemed impossible before becoming historic successes. Without bold decisions, extraordinary results rarely happen. Lesson 3. Never stop innovating. Disney constantly embraced new technology. From sound animation to streaming platforms. Innovation kept the company relevant across generations. Lesson 4. Build experiences, not products. People don't simply buy Disney tickets. They buy emotions. Memories. And moments with their families. Businesses that create emotional connections often build lasting loyalty. Lesson 5. Think beyond today. Walt Disney never planned for the next year. He planned for the next generation. Great companies don't chase trends. They create futures. Today, when millions of children meet Mickey Mouse, or families watch a Disney movie together, most never think about the young artist who was once told. He lacked imagination. They never imagined the bankrupt entrepreneur, who lost everything before finding success. But perhaps that's exactly what makes this story so extraordinary. Because sometimes the world tells you your dreams are impossible. Sometimes people laugh at your ideas. Sometimes you fail. Again and again. But history belongs to those who continue building, even when nobody else believes. Walt Disney didn't just create cartoons, Dot. He created hope. He proved that imagination, when combined with courage, can build an empire, Dot. The next time you see Cinderella Castle, hear Mickey Mouse laugh, or watch a Disney movie, remember, behind all the magic was one man who simply refused to stop dreaming, Dot. Because behind every great company is one decision that changed everything. This is Mr. Finspire, where business becomes a story.